What's good? My name is Corey. I also go by Ink on Stage. I am a poet, clothing designer, entrepreneur, and I'm the owner and founder of the TheInkpad HQ, which is a brand designed to study the creative or the artist mindset and help people transform into their best creative selves. Got some undertones of working with people with their mental health and then just helping them create like the best work possible and pursue their passions. Because that's what I do with the brand, that's what I do with poetry, and that's what I do with even fitness, like everything that I do. So in this video, I'm just trying to get back in the habit of recording YouTube videos, posting them, and I want to do this once a week. We gonna post YouTube video once a week for the next year at least. Today is, I think, September 14th, maybe? So today is September 14th. And yeah, I need to be consistent. I'm not doing what I need to do to become a millionaire, pretty much. And I feel that I really do enjoy long form content. Like, I enjoy consuming it more than, short form, such as like Instagram. I don't even have a TikTok. And I want to get back to like providing like that value in this kind of format. So I'm just gonna talk about the brand, and I need to take some time to just get my thoughts out of my brain and into the stratosphere. I might take some notes on the paper and stuff just so I can figure out how to get more organized. The brand is a 5-figure brand now, and I kind of realized that as I've made about like $8,800 from just selling clothing, so that's shirts, hats, hoodies, things like that. And I've made about $2,000 from performing poetry. So I go to open mic events, and in the past year, I've had like 14 headliner events where I was like the main or like the second main act, and I made $2,000 from that. So yes, this is something that I put in my last video. This is like the last time, that I'm gonna be a 5-figure brand. You only get these certain stages in your life once, and I want to be able to reflect on that while I am still at that stage. So, $1 million Corey or $100,000 Corey, will be able to, understand like why we started, and, reinforce the values of the brand. So I'm gonna just kind of talk about what's been going well and things that have been very frustrating that I've been trying to get together. And yeah, hopefully you get some value from this. If you're a new clothing brand owner, a new brand owner, nigga, just don't give up, okay? Patience and persistence. Get that tatted on your neck, invisible ink or some shit. Like, put it on your mirror wall. Like, patience and persistence. As long as you are consistent, it's gonna work out. As long as you are consistent, it's gonna work out. The only reason my other brands didn't work out is because I quit them. Maybe I wasn't like that passionate about them, but I didn't let like my thoughts and stuff evolve. I felt like I had to be tied down to how I felt when I first started them. And with this brand, I find that I allow myself to evolve. Let myself, take a step back to see like where it's supposed to be going. And I feel like that's what you're supposed to do, especially when you're just starting out and, you don't know exactly what you want. I feel like experimentation is so important when it comes to things relating to creativity, because we think that we know what we want, and sometimes we just don't always know what we want. And when we encounter that friction or that tension is like when we're most likely to quit and stuff. But when you become more confident and assured in your decision making and your ideas and the things that you're into, then you're more likely to be persistent. And that literally, you have to be patient with yourself and be patient with, well, it's mainly yourself. There are outlining factors such as, maybe Instagram algorithms, other people, things costing money, but you have to be patient with yourself. I'm really talking to myself, of course. This is the thing that I've realized. Like, I let my frustrations get up there, and I almost wanted to say, I don't want to say I wanted to quit the brand, but I wanted to quit with this design that I'm going to talk about a little later. But yeah, so I'm going to talk about the good stuff first. Okay, we're going to do Roses and Thorns. It's something that I'll say like a mentor used to do in college, where you do like, you say your roses, like things that are going well, and your thorns, like things that not necessarily get in the way of it, but interfering, there you go. Things that are interfering with, you trying to make your progress or whatever. So things that have been going well, for sure, they say word, They say word of mouth marketing is the best marketing, and I have a tendency to notice what I'm not doing well with, but I did not realize how good the word of mouth marketing was doing for my brand. So I come from the open mic space, which is open mic is an event where people have 5 minutes. They could get on stage and they could share their poetry, or they could share comedians will get on there, or what else? Singers, artists. I've seen people do monologues for like plays, like anything like that. And so that's the space that I operate in the DMV. And kind of like my community or my audience was already made for me, and I do feel like I tailored a brand to kind of fit the needs of a community that already existed. I didn't just, pull it out of thin air. And so with that community already being established and me knowing like where I stood with the community and how like my art was growing, a lot of people were noticing me after years of, laying my stake. It's the brand sells itself in a lot of ways, because when other people see it, like they get excited, whether it's just like, someone else is buying something that they already had, or they just get excited that I'm doing well. And I was able to, like I said, get involved with a community that was already there, that I already had stake in, and people talk about the brand. That has been something that I think I don't understand, like, the gravity of it. It's getting to a point where, like, bigger poets, like, are hearing about me, and I have no idea why. And it's not that I've never had, like, a viral video or anything about my poetry. My poetry is pretty good, but it's not like, I don't know, I don't be out here like winning a bunch of competitions or anything like that by any means. So other people are talking about me and talking about the brand and what the brand is doing, and that is a benefit that it's not something that I can even control. Like, I would say that I control it in the sense that I put my best work out there and I really try my best with what I'm doing. I try to make sure you can see, like, well, it's not even intentional, like, I'm a very obsessive person, so my passion is threaded in everything that you see, like figuratively and literally. So, like, me doing my best at what I'm supposed to do encourages other people to talk about it. I think I have a belief that we're all projecting, so I don't know if it's like they see something that they see in themselves, and there's like this good energy transfer that's just going between people. And so, like I said, bigger people are like knowing me, and I have no idea why. And I think it's really cool, and it's, working in the favor of the brand, of course. So word of mouth marketing is going really well. I bring that up first because I am going to talk about how social media marketing and stuff is something that I'm not the strongest with, and I am, working to fix. But word of mouth marketing, which is the best type of marketing because it establishes the most trust, is doing really well. If you get other people to advertise for you in a genuine way, then the products will sell itself, and your brand and your stuff will grow. Something else that's gone well, I feel like I am creating like at my best capacity right now, and I'm more confident in my designs. I'll show you this design. Do I want to put it on? Maybe I'll just pop in a video of it. But I call this design the grid. See if you can see it, kind of. So this design is called the grid. You can see that it's a whole bunch of words in the same font put together to kind of look like, I don't know, a grid. The concept behind this is I got a bunch of words that had to do with artist struggles. I actually made this when I was coming out of a creative slump, and I think it is the first thing that I created, aside from a poem, that when I was like, I just didn't know where I wanted to go with the brand, and I took like a month and a half off. This is like the first design I made. And I was just thinking about what are things that are getting in the way of me creating. Writer's block and like procrastination were the biggest two things, and self-doubt. Those are like the biggest three things that were coming to mind. And then I just kind of thought about different words that had to do with that. And then I put them in this grid format to make it like look aesthetic. From a distance and stuff, you can't really see what the words are. Some of them are cut off at the seams and stuff, and that's perfectly fine. You're not supposed to be able to read all the words, but the representation is that even when we're going through fear, doubt, criticism, trouble connecting with people, maybe anxiety, which are all, like I said, words that are on the design. Even when we're going through that stuff, like, we're still able to create. Like, we work with those things. We have courage to push through those things and know that, yeah, this is something that I'm going through, because I'm not the kind of person that denies mental health either. I'm not going to say that your fear is just non-existent. or that your anxiety is just made up or anything. I'm the type of person to say that these are real things that humans go through, and we work while we are going through these things. And over time, those things, we change our mindset, and those things decrease, and we start to feel better. And that's that's a big thing that I feel, like I said, creatives go through. And yeah, so I wanted to develop a set. When I first started clothing brand like years ago, I wanted to make a set. Here, let me click this. I wanted to make a set. Man, I've been having these issues with these manufacturers. We're gonna talk about that in the issue part, but yeah, I was able to finally get some samples for a set that I gotta get fixed. But it's like the best thing, in my opinion, that I've created so far. Like I felt so good seeing it, even when it's not at its top form. And when I get it how I want it, like it's gonna be my favorite thing that I've made. And hopefully that of course I would love it to translate into sales. But it wouldn't necessarily be necessary, if that makes sense. Something else that's going well is I have a lot of support. Oh, I hosted my first event. That should have been earlier, I feel. But I hosted my first event. I didn't want to do like a clothing pop-up where I just have either me talking about my clothes or bringing other entrepreneurs and them just talking about their brands and stuff. I didn't want it to be that kind of event. I'll do that stuff later down the line, but I really want to be able to build community, and I want to understand my audience and my target audience more and more. I think the more that you understand your audience and the more that you understand it over your competitors, the better you could serve them, and the more that your creative process makes sense. And so I designed an event. It was called The Incubator. I designed it or did it in like a month, even like less than that, to be honest, like figuring out what I was going to do for the event. I kind of just booked a space and said, fuck it. It's time for me to start hosting. It's time for me to step up in this capacity, and I need to stop being scared. This fear of this, no one showing up is not beneficial to me. It's not, and it's also irrational because I don't know. It's like why would you just think the worst? And even if that does happen, it doesn't make it the worst thing in the world. So what I did was, there's another creative entrepreneur in the poetry space. She sells candles. Her name is Tyrita. She has a brand called Tyrita's Aromas. For sure, check it out. I always knew that I wanted to do some type of work with her. And when this idea was coming to my head of hosting an event, I literally sent her an audio message and was like, look, I want to do this event. I really don't know like what it's about to look like. I kind of just got it in a rough draft stage right now, but I want you to be part of it. And she was like, for sure, yes. So like 3 weeks later, I was already in the process of getting the space official and signing a contract and stuff. And then this did cost money, of course. So I was trying to figure out all that stuff. But yeah, essentially the event was kind of like a live podcast where I was like doing like a conversational kind of interview with how she started her brand. And then we were bouncing ideas back and forth. And then at some point there was like a comment or Q&A section where people in the audience were just bringing up either things that came up with them or that they heard from us. So one of the topics was like people pleasing. We talked about actually taking action instead of just, consuming material and stuff. Talked about like where to start with certain people, and it was just a really good event. About 10 to 15 people came out. I did have tickets, so it was not a free event. So I just think that's crazy. Like people paid, to come to this, and it's not like a party type of event. It was a very informational, educational thing, and I want to learn how to make the event more entertaining, like so people aren't bored and stuff. But it was a really good event. I got a lot from it. And I'm glad that I had the courage to even just follow through with it. I think once I made the Eventbrite link where people could get tickets, I was like, dang, I can't go back. Like people are buying tickets, so I have to follow through with it. But I'm glad that I took that step and I made myself, keep my own promise to myself, have that accountability, and also other people were, holding me accountable, hyping me up. So I do have a supportive community in that sense. So yes, those are 3 things that are going really well as of September 14th, 2025. Word of mouth marketing is going great. People are talking about the brand and it's positive. It's not on no bullshit. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of bullshit out here, and it's just, positive, good energy. From what I know, niggas could be hating, and I really, I don't know. Either I don't know or I don't pay attention to it. Word of mouth marketing is going well. What was the second thing? Oh, I'm having the confidence to design at my best, and it has brought, good results. And then I hosted my first event, and I'm trying new things and experimenting with new things. And I'm very proud of myself for that. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. But okay, so those are the 3 roses. Now we're going to talk about 3 thorns, things that have not been going the best, things that I need to work on. I already know I'm finna talk about finance, manufacturers, and building a team. Those are, I just off dome, because this is unscripted. Off dome, those are the 3 things that I want to talk about the most. So I think I want to talk about manufacturers right now because that's bothering me the most. Now this design, this is like one of the new rollouts that I want to do. And I started this like mid-July, and I kind of like just got, the pants part of the sample. It's been very hard to find a manufacturer who would do this properly. I think that, I'm working with China manufacturers through Alibaba overseas. There's a 12-hour time difference. There is language barrier. This design is something with words, and for some reason, people keep changing the design. It's complex when you don't know how to do it. I'm not about to say that it's actually hard, but I haven't been able to find a manufacturer who can do it right. And one of the issues is people keep, they want the design to be, longer, I guess you could say. And instead of asking me for it to be longer, they start adding letters and stuff, like where the things were cut off. And, it's not English. So it's it's not just letters put together, you know what I'm saying? Like, these are actual words. And if their words aren't spelled right, it won't make sense to my customers. Even if, like I said, from a distance, you can't tell what all the words are. It's just, don't mess up my design. Don't change my design. That makes no sense why you wouldn't consult with the person, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's one thing. And, when you put in an order, they don't immediately get to your order. It's like a week long. It's a couple weeks process. And then, so let's say it takes 2 weeks for them to actually, or a week and a half for them to actually start working on my design. And then another week and a half, 2 weeks of back and forth of, I'm saying why what you're doing is incorrect and what I need you to change. I have been getting better with communication, just not being so frustrated and trying to, make sure I'm remaining respectful and understanding of the language barrier and stuff. But I'm bro, this makes no sense. The first manufacturer, a month went by and no product from it. They told me that they couldn't figure it out. They were funding me, and then they were they could figure it out. Because the manager found out something, and I don't know, maybe I'm not asking enough questions. Maybe I should be trying to call them more instead of just texting. But that was very discouraging, that first manufacturer for that first month. And then when I realized they couldn't do it, I found more manufacturers. I found a couple more manufacturers, and the same thing, not the same thing happened with the second one, but the quality was pretty poor. And there was something again, the design wasn't long enough, so they just left the seams. I don't know, they left the seams on the pants, and it just looked so bad. And I'm this is not what I asked for. That was the thing that was blowing me the most. And then they figured out how to solve it, mindful, without me changing the design. And they end up giving me a product that's a different color. I'm gonna go over this first. So I got this with 2 shirts, because I'm also trying to experiment with being able to, do the cut and sew and say where the measurements are and stuff. But yeah, you can't really tell it here, but this is DTG and it's not screen print. And the reason that I prefer screen print is because the item pops more. Let me show you an example of it. This is specifically with a black and a white material. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it on the video, but this is a screen print. This is black with a white screen print. Another design that I had made, and it pops really well. You could definitely tell it more in person, but this is a year old too, and I've been washing it and stuff, and the white is still as vibrant as when I first got it. And also the quality, there's no cracks in it and stuff. I don't know how to show you through the camera, but screen print kind of raises off the fabric, but here it's embedded in the fabric. And I don't know if it's because they need to do a second coat or what have you, but the black is faded. It's not I really don't know if you could tell here, but the black is faded. And another thing they did for this, which blew me, and they told me they didn't, but I saw it and I told them to fix it. They printed black on a white fabric instead of white on a black fabric. And that affects the item popping and stuff. And I told them that. She told me that they didn't do it. And then it was wrong. The cuffs were not supposed to be white, or the cuffs and the hem. They weren't supposed to be white. And after seeing this in person too, you can't really tell here, but the drawstrings are way too far out, so it looks very silly actually on the person. That was annoying. And then they were having the issue with the pants, and they sent the pants like 2 weeks later. Now you could just, come on now. Like, this don't match at all, bro. Like, this very much looks gray. I don't know if this is gray or they only did one coating because there's a certain way you're supposed to do screen print with white, I think. But yeah, so they actually did it in the black. This is like a black velvet fabric on the pants too, which is like really nice, like very soft, and it would be very warm in the winter. But yeah, you can even see like this white, it doesn't, like it's not the color white. This is most definitely, you know what I'm saying, not the color white. I'm about to put them on real quick. It was nice to get the item to just see it, you know what I'm saying? And it just feels good to, you know, sample day is supposed to be like a birthday present, you feel me? But like none of the things actually match, which is like mad annoying. Put that down a little bit. So yes, it's nice to actually see the concept, you know what I'm saying? I'll put the hoodie on too. I really love the concept. Like I said, this is one of the best things I've ever designed. But this is just, it's not what I asked for. And I'm in the process of trying to communicate that with them so I get a refund. Because I just don't want to work with them, but I want to keep the samples. Okay, so I'm hoping that you can see this a little better. But yeah, so like I said, the set together is going to be so fire. It even looks good like with the shirt, but it's just not what I asked for. It's very disappointing. Like, this is 2 samples that I've gotten. Mindful, I started working with these people like a month before I even got to see it because of all of the back and forth and the errors. And yeah, it's just annoying and discouraging. And it did, like, when I saw this sample, I didn't want to quit, but I was like, bro, should I just work on a more simple design? And that is never a thing that should come through your mind. Like, oh, should I just do something that's easier for someone else? Like, no, that doesn't make no sense. You should express your creativity to a point where you can make your best work. And I'm gonna make this is gonna make me $1 million. Quote that shit right now. Like, this set itself, like being able to sell different colors and stuff, it's gonna make me $1 million. Like, celebrity's gonna be in this joint, you know what I'm saying? I say that about all my designs, but I really mean it for this. This is another design that a lot of people like. Like I said, I made it a year ago, but it was so complex to get it made. I didn't really know how to go about it, but this is another design that I would love to get it in a shirt form with different words, which I'm working on now. And I would love to get it in a hoodie set. But yeah, it's like, I was like, okay, me starting this in July should be a good thing, right? I'll have plenty of time to be able to market it and maybe release the shirt in October and then do the hoodie set for November Black Friday. And now it is September 14th, and I kind of have to start over. I have to use a more expensive manufacturer. So that's something that I say that maybe me working with the cheaper manufacturers is what led me into this position. And I'm going to just have to work with my more expensive manufacturer. But I'm working on, you know, getting my resale certificate so that I don't have to pay taxes, which makes the more expensive manufacturer even more expensive, if that makes sense. And, you know, I'm just taking the steps that I need to do in order to make this, like, the best product possible. But, man, I really do love this set, even with it being messed up. Like, I love what it represents. You know, like I said, you being able to work through your struggles. And it's so poetic because it's actually, like, what the collection would be about. This grid and this what the font design. But, yeah, that was a long rant about the manufacturer situation that's going on with me. I said I would talk about manufacturers, finance. Ooh, I can't remember the other joint. It might come back to me, but let's talk about finance. So what I do is I really just operate on as if I'm already a millionaire. I like to call myself a delusional millionaire. Like I already have everything that I need to be operating the way I need. And some things about that are good. Some things about that are bad. So I just be buying shit. And I buy it on my credit card, and at the end of the month, I'm able to pay it off by God's will alone. Like, I don't plan to finance enough. I can't even tell you how much I've spent, and I want to start going through that and going through my expenses since, like, last November and stuff to make sure I know, like, how to do that for my taxes and what have you. But, yeah, man, like, I have all of this stuff. Let's go take a look at it. This is, you know, all inventory that's just sitting. I got maybe 30 jerseys now, a certain amount of hoodies. I got 30 jerseys probably left. Each jersey costs $35, $37 just to get to me. So that's cost of goods plus shipping. I have like 40 shirts left. Each of those shirts cost like $13. I usually sell them for like 20. I usually sell the jerseys for like 60 or 80, depending on the place. I have hats. Do I have a hat convenient to me right now? I have these hats, maybe like 20 more left. They say I create, and they're in velvet, and it's like a 3D embroidery. Very good quality item. I be selling them joints for like $40, and they cost me only $11 to make. That's the only item of like a good profit margin. But yeah, all that to say, all of that organization with finance is something that I keep putting to the side, because I'm gonna say that once I get to a certain point, then I'll start focusing on that. But I think that I need to start focusing on it now. I did order 100 hats, 50 in pink, the same hat, and 50 in brown, which was kind of like off a whim. I don't know. I was in a place where I was like, I just need to stop overthinking it and just do it. Like, nigga, you just need to take action so that, and then figure out the rest later, which, you know, it's not the worst thing, but like I said, it's not the most financially responsible. And I recently did get these shorts. These are the Rose shorts. These are the Rose shorts. They are meant to match one of my jersey designs. I did procrastinate this a bit and did not get to get this made like for the summer, but yeah, I just got like 30 of them shorts. It's meant to match one of my other jersey designs, and yeah, I did procrastinate it because like I said, I took a month and a half off during the summer because I just didn't know, you know, what I wanted to do, and I was getting anxiety about thinking about, oh, I gotta make sure I cut the shorts right, and should I get another sample? Then I was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna just get them. And they're gonna move. They're gonna be able to sell. I have no doubt that I will sell everything that is in here. I currently do not have a plan for what that looks like, though. I guess the last thing I'll get into, what I'm struggling with, is content and content creation, being consistent with content. I'm getting better at content, of creating it, finding things that have better hooks and they're more interesting videos. I did take a new style of not just making my content product focused, and I am making it more, I'm making it more community focused. And I also did invest in a mentor. And this was a very big investment that I luckily am on a payment plan for. But yeah, I'm now going to be getting that one-on-one mentorship with the content so that I can grow my brand online. I had a big focus with my brand this past year of doing in-person pop-up events, in-person sales, and that's just, it's not sustainable for me. And it makes more sense to just be able to scale online. I talked about this in another video, but I had 3 months consecutive where I made average of over $1,500 just in-person sales. And I know that the designs are there, the concepts are there, my passion is there. I just need to know that structure, and I need to work on that consistency, like I said, with me becoming the entrepreneur that my business needs. I'm gonna be a millionaire soon, and it's not to say that, you know, a millionaire is not just someone who has $1 million. And I'm not talking about like daddy's money type millionaires. I'm talking about like someone who becomes the kind of person that their brand needs, is developing those habits, is getting that discipline, and is locking in so that they can see their work flourish. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want the ThinkPad to flourish, and we're getting there very soon. It's already there. To be honest, everything is already there. It's just about organizing it, you know, clicking the dials where it needs to be clicked so that, you know what I'm saying, things, I don't know what this is going to look like, but things typically grow like this, and it's like, ooh, then it just shoots up, and that's very soon. I know I'm so close to it. It's like once I could get a 1K online drop, then I could get a 5K online drop, then a 10K online drop. And after 10K, from what I understand, like the only difference from a 10K and a 30K is the amount of material, and making sure you know that you have an inventory, and then making sure that, you know, your systems are just in line so you can fulfill those orders. So, man, we getting there. I'm having a bunch, like I do have some other struggles that are going on, but I'm very blessed for a lot. I do need to move soon because I'm having issues with my apartment. That's been stressing me out. And it's like affecting me in like other ways that I'm trying to work through. Hopefully that will be resolved soon. And then on top of all of this, I do try to, like, I'm not gonna say maintain a social life, but make sure that I nurture friendships, whether I'm making sure I call people. Like, I don't know, there's just a whole bunch of stuff going on. I don't really have any friends that are entrepreneurs, or at least that do it the way that I do it. So a lot of this can be lonely, but patience and persistence. Like, just be consistent with what you're doing. and do it for a long period of time. Do it for a long period of time without complaining too. Patience isn't just waiting, it's waiting with a good attitude. So I know once I lock into that, I get these habits in. I got my phone, today, and I was writing down things that, but there's this app I use called To Do where I'm able to, track on my habits. I did the 75 hard last year, so I think I'm gonna like make my own little 75 hard, but it'd be a little more specific for my current needs, like what I know is good for me and what I need to do, like I said, to become that $1 million brand owner, because there's a version of me like that already exists, so I just gotta tap into that. I have different habits that I'm trying to work on, that I am working on, and that we're trying to do them every day though. And yeah, I'm about to get into some ideation for this content and then record and stuff. Maybe get this video up tomorrow or whatever. And yeah, if you made it to the end, I don't know why you like watching me talk this much, but I hope you got something from that. And get your ass up, get off of YouTube, because that's what I just needed to tell myself. Get your ass up, get off of YouTube, and go create something, and then go share it with someone. You know what I'm saying? Okay, talk to you later, and yurt.